depths of my mind, a demonic cackle. Joker's grin, mocking me, ready for battle. Chasing reality.
Hey, what's going on YouTube? My name is Andrew, aka the Black Dragon. This is Black Dragon Studios, and we back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today, the ODIN dungeon came out, the event dungeon, and as you probably clicked on this video to see, I'm going to show you guys today an easy way to farm, well, pretty much speed farm stage 20 of this dungeon for the low-key chase event. It's really not that hard. You don't need specific champions to do this. You just need champions that have specific abilities, and they're not that hard to get. We can farm stage 20 in between 30 seconds to a minute, and you can just kind of build from there. If you want to go do a higher level, I haven't even tried a higher level yet, because I think I'm just satisfied farming stage 20 for now, where you can get that crazy pinpoint accuracy gear set, which I think it's worth it to farm because it's only there for a limited time, and the gear set itself is really good. So I'm going to try to get a 9-piece set for at least one of my champions. And yeah, let's get into the team comp. I'll just show you guys a general team comp, and you can kind of build from there with what champions you have on your own account. I'm not gonna like get into specifics, but basically the only buff that you need to be worried about on ODIN with this team comp is the block damage buff, and that's the only thing that he's gonna ever have on him at any time. So all you need for this is a steel buff champion. So a guy like Geomancer or a guy like Genbo the Dishonored is even better for stage 20. Genbo here in his A1, each hit has a 50% chance of stealing one random buff. And like I said, the block damage buff is the only buff that Odin's ever going to have on him with this team. So that's like pretty much a really high chance of stealing that buff. And also on his A2, attacks all enemies and has a 100% chance of decreasing all duration of buffs by 1 turn. This effect cannot be resisted on critical hits, so you don't even really need to build accuracy into his kit in order for this to work. It just works. I do have 200 accuracy on him, which is going to be enough for stage 20 to make the A1 work. All of his other stats here are pretty like nuker based. He's going to be nuking down the waves as well, which is really nice. If you can use a guy like Genbo, I would really highly suggest it. But Geomancer will work. So just 5k attack, 70 crit rate, because he puts an additional 30% crit rate on himself, and then 300 crit damage with no resistance and 180 speed. So very easy build here for Genbo. Just put crit damage, crit rate, and then you can spec the rest into attack and speed. Okay, so if you're going to build out like a Geomancer, I would suggest something like this, where Geomancer has on his A2, removes all buffs from a target enemy, and then attacks them, and steals all buffs instead if there's an HP burn placed by the champion on the target. And also steals the turn meter with his A3, so he can steal all the turn meter, and places HP burn and weaken. So he can be your weaken champion as well. And as well as the stone card passive, which is really nice. Basically, whenever an ally is attacked, he'll reflect damage. And if an enemy is under an HP burn debuff, and if the enemy attacks him specifically, he'll reflect 30% of the damage and has a chance of dealing additional damage. So it's really, really nice. Really nice. It's basically a built-in strengthen. Pretty good. And then decrease accuracy on his A1, which is also very nice. So Geomancer and an HP aura. So I mean, Geomancer is just an all-star in this type of a dungeon, but really the point I'm trying to make to you is that you need to steal buffs or remove buff, a buff stripper, any of these will work. I just like Genbo a lot because he has it on his A1, which means that it's never going to be on cooldown, and he's always going to have access to it at any given point in the match. And if the guy happens to put block damage on all of his ads, then you can just decrease the duration of all the buffs by 1 turn, so they're never going to have block buffs or block damage up. You could use someone like Godseeker as well to do this job. Attacks all enemies, decreases the duration of all buffs on all enemies by 1 turn, which is all you need for this to work. And then he's going to place stun on our entire team occasionally, so I have built a Mithrala for this job. You want somebody to cleanse the team. You can use any cleanser for this job. You can use a Mausoleum Mage or even a Spirit Host if you really wanted to. But yeah, just cleanse the team of all those stun debuffs. But it's really not even necessary, honestly, because the stun is only lasting for 1 turn. But it's still nice to have, and the strengthen, and the shield, in the case of Mithrala. And the increased attack and increased defense. So I mean, Mithrala is your best bet for this dungeon in terms of cleanser. And then the poisons do a lot of damage to the boss as well. And the passive, petrification, doesn't really matter. Just try to have your champions that need accuracy built to like 225 accuracy, 225 accuracy for this dungeon to farm stage 20. I don't even really need to show you the builds because it's pretty self-explanatory. Like Mithrala, you just want to build her for speed and accuracy, and that's it. That's, well, like maybe some HP and some defense. It's really simple. And then we have Ugo. Ugo's insane for this dungeon. So in order to stop him from buffing himself with all these random buffs, we're going to use Ugo for this dungeon because he has block buff AoE. He'll be able to place that and also place decreased defense as well. He also has a cleanse, so he can remove 1 random debuff from all allies and then heal them by 20% of his max HP, so it's really super good. And it has a leech on his A1, but yeah, just build him for accuracy, build him for speed, and you'll be good to go. So then we need damage dealers, so additional damage dealers. I've decided to go with a decreased defense and weakened champion specifically. You can use any decreased defense champion you want for this dungeon, but I've chosen to go with Venus because she places the big version of decreased defense and weaken. Also has an AoE HP burn and poisons on her A1, as well as an HP aura in all battles. I have my Venus built out in regen gear, but you can build her out any way you want. You can build your decreased defense and weakened champion out any way you want. Just make sure they have enough accuracy and enough speed to get you to where you need to be. I try to shoot for around 200 speed. And then for the pairing of Venus, I went with another damage dealer named Whisper, an epic. But you can use any damage dealer you want. Royal Guard, Cold Heart, like any of these champions will be just fine as your like HP, I should call it like enemy max HP nuker. But this champion here does not nuke based off enemy max HP. This champion just lays a good smack. I'm talking like 300, 400k damage if all the conditions are right, and can do this and get extra turns, and just she is absolutely insane. So basically what Whisper does is on her A3, if the target is under a decreased defense and weakened debuff, she attacks 1 enemy 2 times and then grants an extra turn. And then on her A2, places increased attack and increased crit rate on this champion for 2 turns before attacking. If the target has a higher max HP than this champion, will ignore all defense if the target is under a weakened debuff. So ignoring all defense is the key here. We're going to be hitting very hard when we're ignoring all of the boss's defense. And then on her A1, attacks 1 enemy. It's not that special. And then her passive is great. Has a 10% chance of granting an extra turn whenever this champion lands a critical hit. increases damage inflicted on bosses by 20. But a very good passive and insane. I got Phantom Touch on her. And then on my Venus, I have Cruelty. So, it's very simple. That's really all it's about there, folks. I've got my 5-star Brimstone on Mithrala. And that's really it. So, let me just go in and show you guys how you can farm this dungeon. With basically just a block debuffs. Or, sorry, block buffs. A cleanse, and a buff strip. That's really it. That's all you need. Decrease defense and weaken, block buffs, cleanse, and buff strip, and some nukers, and you've got the job done. Watch, we're gonna go in and farm here on auto. Hugo goes in for the block debuffs, decrease defense. Mithrala does nothing. Venus goes in, places the weaken. Now there goes Whisper. First ad is dead, just shot dead. Level 280 on the floor in one hit. Here he comes with his move, Odin, but he can't hit Mithrala because she has too much resistance. She cleanses the team and we're right back at it again. Sorry, Odin, you're not going to be stunning us today. And Odin's just standing there wondering what the hell just happened. He just tried to buff himself, but he had block buff, so he couldn't do it. Now he has the block damage. This is where Genbo comes in. Sorry, buddy. You don't get that either. And now Odin's just like, why me, dude? Why have I been placed here?
Are you Thor, the god of hammers?
Why not? Why not someone else? See, here he got it again. The block damage, so we had to kill the last ad. Whatever. Odin will get a turn, and his block damage will be gone. Another cleanse. Thank you, Mithrala. And now it's just off to the races. We just need to spend the last 10 or 20 seconds here farming Odin. 420k damage from Whisper there. Thank you very much. She's dead. Don't care. You're dead too. There we go. Minute 18. It's simple as that. It doesn't get any easier than that. And we're going to do it again just to show you that it's a consistent run. The same thing happens every time.
So
there you have it, folks. You saw it right there. Whisper is just going absolutely crazy on this boss. Does not like this boss one bit. Says 600k. Sit the fuck down, buddy. Thanks for coming out. Have a nice day. Alright, peace out.